It's time to get started. All you chatterbugs out there, if you could quiet, please. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed that lunch program. Tomorrow is going to be even more fun. You're going to be laughing a lot tomorrow. He's bringing a whole crew to do some fun stuff with you guys. I hope you wrote some really funny stuff on those papers, whether it was a product or whether it was a celebrity. I think it's going to be quite entertaining. Anyways, we are ready for our afternoon keynote speaker, and I'm from the bottom of my heart so grateful that Jeremy traveled here. I've known Jeremy, a long time, over 10 years probably. I've learned a lot from him through YouTube and videos, even incorporated it into a previous business that I was in. And it's funny because videos never stop. And I made a video a couple years ago. I was in the garage door business and I was teaching people how to change batteries in a remote. Yes, there are batteries in a remote control. I can't tell you how many phone calls we used to get about that. You think it would be simple, but to a lot of people it's not. And so I decided to do a video. Well, I happened to look, and that video is now over 10,000 views, and I'm not even with the company anymore. So, and it keeps on growing, and it kind of gives me the chills because had I really implemented what he told me to do, it would be blowing out of the water. So I am very honored to have Jeremy Vest here, all the way from Signal Mountain. Jeremy, come on up.
Thank you. Hey, thanks everyone. I first want to just say, hey Mike, how you doing? A lot of people in this room right now changed my life. I moved to Dallas in 2005, and I met people like Tony Wright and Dan Sturdivant and Mike and a lot of these guys in this room. And I just want to say, like, what they built, State of Search and DFW SEM, you guys have changed so many people's lives. So thank you guys. Let's give a big round of applause for all these guys in here. How many people in this room have been affected by the people that started this organization? That's awesome. About a third of you guys. It's really cool. Okay, as a recovering SEO specialist, I want to say a couple of things before I get started. The first is, although us nerds lean towards the tech and the silver bullets and the one thing, I want you to really, what I'm going to say is really just common sense, and it's going to seem really easy, but it's really not easy at all. So if you want to do great at SEO or content marketing or social media or YouTube or Instagram or TikTok, you just have to make great content, right? I mean, that's what's going to surface now. So my challenge to you guys is to not think about it from an analytical perspective, but rather just how are you going to create something people actually want to consume, right? So that's my challenge to you before we get started. Search happens on all kinds of, from TikTok to YouTube, YouTube Shorts. I'm sure you guys have seen this, but there is a lot of search happening on Google all over the place. So if you're not creating videos, there's a very big chance that you're not ranking in SERPs as well as you should be, or your customers, right? Don't underestimate what YouTube is doing right now. They're starting to index, or Google is starting to index TikTok videos pretty insanely. The second video there is a video I created a few days ago, and 80% of this short vertical videos, shorts are called, it's like the TikTok for YouTube. Anyways, almost 80% of the search came from Google and YouTube search. So don't underestimate the power of creating videos for traditional SEO. How many people in here do video stuff right now? How many people in here want or think they should do video stuff? Awesome. All right, this is my number one rule and my only rule. What I mean by not sucking is not having good equipment. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about being good on camera. I'm not talking about any of that. What I mean is actually caring enough to create content that people want. A lot of people, especially if I've worked with about 20 of the top 100 brands in America doing YouTube strategy, and I'll never forget Procter and Gamble was like, why is this 13-year-old getting 1 billion views and we got no views? It's like, well, because people don't want to talk to a brand. They want to talk to a real person and they can't relate to you. So when I say don't suck on video, I want you to be yourself. I want you to have a crappy camera. As long as you have good audio and good lighting, people can handle everything else. They can't handle bad audio. They can't handle bad lighting. The more polished you get, some of the worst customers I've ever had were like radio DJs and people that were really polished because no one believes you, So if you really focus on a specific thing, like a specific niche, and you're just some nerd, you have a group of nerds like you in the world that want to learn from you, right? So it's not, I think the main reason people suck at video, it's hard. You have to be consistent, but they're not understanding what good means. Good doesn't mean good equipment. I sold my $10,000, $15,000 worth of equipment 2 years ago, and I just use an iPhone or a GoPro, or I have something called an Insta360 Link, which is a $300 web camera that's insane. And no one even noticed. No one noticed the difference. So don't suck means how dare you waste someone's time if you're making some boring crap because you have to check a box for some company, right? Like, don't make boring crap. Make something entertaining or educating, and definitely give people either entertainment or education. Give them real advice. This is kind of like a blog post or anything else. If the good ones do well and the bad ones don't get ranked at all. So you got to make videos for the people, not for yourself or your company or your brand or your clients. If you make videos for anyone other than the consumers of the videos, then you're just going to waste everyone's time. Does anyone agree with that? Awesome. So I'm sorry, it's not me, it's you. If you're not getting views on YouTube, a lot of people want to bring, I've been doing this stuff for, I guess, 22 years now. I've been in digital marketing. I'm an old man. And we all have blamed everyone for everything throughout these 22 years. It's always Google, or it's YouTube, or it's this or that. But the truth is, we're just not making content people want to consume if we're not getting views, or we're not being consistent enough, or we're not niching down far enough. It's a mindset, right? So what I'm telling you guys is don't blame anyone else, just figure it out. Because if you have that other mindset of it's everyone else's fault, then you're never going to go anywhere in life. So don't blame others, even though, yes, we all can't stand the YouTube and Google algorithms. I get it. But adapt and move forward. All right. This looks like something from Sesame Street. It was early this morning when I made this. But this is at the heart and soul. You can listen to all these. This is why my customers have over 20 billion organic views on YouTube. I promise you. It's really this simple. Clickability, watchability, and shareability. Clickability is the title and thumbnail. It has to be awesome. Your thumbnail has to stand out. Seth Godin says you have to be the purple cow. You have to stand out against everyone else. Watchability, if people aren't actually watching your content, then YouTube and Google aren't going to share it. And then shareability, make something so awesome that people want to actually share, comment, and like on it. If you can master these three things, the algorithm, fancy editing, fancy equipment, nothing else matters, right? Clickability, watchability, and shareability. Most of the presentation is on this. This is a thumbnail I did, got a few million views. I used to be the director of marketing or chief marketing officer of Brell Skateboarding, the largest skateboard YouTube channel. I'm an old man, but I still skateboard every day. Fun job. Video got millions of views. Do with the video has to do with the clickability. It's a glass skateboard. I made it look like it was shattering. The perspective, I was literally underneath him while he was like 6 foot in the air. with a 40-pound glass skateboard. So this is all real. Of course, it's enhanced, but this is a very clickable thumbnail. What's missing? Text. Why? Because I'm telling a visual story. If a picture's worth 1,000 words, why do I got to put text on this? Do you really think text would add any value to this right here? If you're a skateboarder or not, you're probably going to click on that because it's kind of insane. Here's a video from a local legend, Roger Wakefield. He's now the most famous, he's the most famous plumber online. About 4 years ago when I started working with her, wow, my bad, Roger. When I started working with him, he had 100 subscribers. And I started teaching him my philosophies and getting there. Now Cottonelle pays him 6 figures to make a video about toilet paper. Like, this guy is freaking awesome. He sold his plumbing company here in town, and he is going to the moon. Why? Clickable thumbnails. Even though this if you're typing in something to do with Fabuloso, you're going to click on this dude with the sweet mustache before you click on anything else. Mr. Beast, a lot of people don't understand this, but if you really look close on all these faces, they Photoshopped like all those faces. Like that girl face looks like she's on a dude's body if you really look at it. Like the proportions are wrong. But he'll do hundreds of thumbnail tests, multivariate tests and stuff to make sure that his thumbnail is getting views. What I love about Mr. Beast, by the way, is probably, if you guys don't know, the best YouTube marketer in the world. There's so much science and math and crazy stuff in this thumbnail. I'm going to kind of break it down real quick, but we're going to get real nerdy towards the end. Eyes, subconsciously, are the window to the soul, and nonverbal communication is greater than verbal communication. So seeing the surprise face, the big whites of the eyes, the open mouth, there's so much crazy science in this thumbnail, but there's a reason he's the most clicked YouTuber in the world. Scale is absolutely huge on YouTube. Being immersed in like what looks to be millions of dollars, everyone likes money, so it's a very clickable thing. I showed these thumbnails specifically to show you guys, like, you could be a plumber, a skateboarder, or it doesn't matter, right? You could be a mortician. What I don't want you guys to do is have the excuse of, oh, my company's boring, or, the client's boring. That's an excuse. I promise you. I have one of my customers makes $300,000 or $400,000 a year, and he teaches people how to cut grass. That's all he does. Roger is like a freaking celebrity, literally, at marketing conferences, and he's a plumber. So excuses are excuses. I'm sorry, but if you have a boring company, it's your fault. Because people, especially if you're B2B, the other side of that B is a human with emotions, right? It's not just boring to boring. That's not what it stands for. But psychologically, we all think that. And LinkedIn, we post this stupid crap instead of talking about your dog dying or, being like vulnerable and having real emotions. People want people. They don't want BS. And B2B, everyone I know working in a B2B space is starving for real crap. So don't underestimate the power of your mindset and your psychological state of approaching these boring companies. By the way, if you go to, and I'll show this at the end, but all of this is available to you guys for free, so you don't have to write all this stuff down. It's creatorunlock.com/SOS. So again, this whole presentation's already there for you guys, waiting on you. But the clickable thumbnail cheat sheet is basically all this stuff. I'm not going to go over in details, but there is definitely a lot of value. And this is this isn't something, but wait, there's more you have to buy for $19.95. This is everything. I'm giving you guys my whole secret. So the other part of clickability is the titles, and the titles have to match the thumbnail. I want to show you guys my favorite thumbnail of all time is a yellow box. And the reason is the title says this is not yellow. So what you have to understand is the combination of so what happens is, this is what happens. You're scrolling, you see the thumbnail is the stop sign. The title is the reason you're going to click or not. So you're scrolling, you see a cool thumbnail, you pause, you read the title. And this proves that fact, right? 21 million views, a yellow box, and it says this is not yellow. It's kind of crazy. So I wanted to show you guys the power of the combination of the title and thumbnail. What do you guys get any value so far? Yeah. Awesome. All right. I don't think this is going to work. Nope. What's a video presentation with videos anyways? We don't need videos. I'll just explain it. True story, about 7 years ago, the state of Alaska sent me to Alaska to teach Inuits YouTube. I get there and nothing was working. So I had to explain to Inuits what YouTube was for 3 hours. That was pretty awesome. The most important thing about making watchable content is that first 1 to 3 seconds. A lot of people say 10 seconds. Man, you guys know after 10 seconds, you're already on your phone or somewhere else in the kitchen. Like 10 seconds might as well be 10 years on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, right? 10 seconds is way too long. Don't ever listen to that stuff again. It's 1 to 3 seconds. So you have to hook the viewers with emotion. Punch people in their emotions. That's what I like to say. Because if you don't, you're going to not engage them, and then they're going to go on their desktop or iPhone or iPad or whatever, and you've lost them. The editing, the video I was going to show you, which I'll explain, is Mr. Beast has, in the first 10 seconds, about 30 to 40 different cuts in video. So it's like boom, 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 boom. It's like a machine gun of different visuals and audio and stuff happening. The reason for that, we're pretty much all ADHD at this point, to a point. So if you can hook people with emotions and a lot of visual stimulation, whether you're a Morg or a skateboard channel, it doesn't matter. That would be weird for a Morg, though, to have really fast cuts. You just have to go fast. If you won't watch the video you made, scrap it. Don't waste people's time. There's so much crap out there. It's just not worth it. It's not going to help from organic search or anything. Or, if you make decent content on blogs or YouTube or TikTok or Instagram, scrap it. It's not going to be good enough. No pressure. Another thing I do is I use a lot of sounds, like boop or something like that, to re-engage people's brains every 1 to 3 seconds. Give a payoff. Make sure you give someone a reason to keep watching the video. Don't spill all the beans in the beginning. Give something away or do something so that people keep watching the video. The best thing to do is make content good enough where people want to keep watching, but that's really hard. So if you really are in a boring industry, then give someone a serious, real reason to keep watching. Subject matter. How is a plumber getting millions of views a month? I mean, man, I want to do dad jokes so bad right now about it's a crappy business, but I'm not. So relatability. The reason why Roger Wakefield as a plumber, I know a lot of you guys in here know him. The reason he's so good, he thought his superpower was that he's a master plumber for the last 35 years. But his superpower is actually the fact that he's charismatic and he can explain plumbing to the average person. So relating to his audience makes people love him. There's people that watch his channel. Like my wife literally watches his channel and she's not a plumber. We are redoing a house, so there's a little bit of similarity, but he's just a charismatic guy. And it just makes a lot of sense to watch his content if you own a house. And then edutainment, just keep things more exciting than you think you should keep them, because you're focused on someone. If you're writing a blog post for an SEO reason, you're going to add more value than you normally would for some other purpose, right? It's the same concept. Going to get into shorts real quick. Got a celebrity, Austin Armstrong here. He's going to get way nerdier tomorrow, I think at 10. Is it 10? Yeah, you don't want to miss this session on TikTok. And I'm not taking all the credit. I'm taking 1% of the credit. But about 3 or 4 months ago, Austin was posting videos every day, multiple times a day. And he was getting, a few hundred views maybe? If he was getting a few hundred views on his shorts a day, it's like, that was a good day. Now, he went from about 5,000 to, you crossed yesterday, 400,000 subscribers on YouTube in 8 weeks?
60 days, 75 days.
So a little more than 2 months, he went from 5,000 subscribers on YouTube to 400,000 subscribers just by focusing in on making shorts that people want to consume. But isn't that awesome? This guy's life has changed. He's got over 1 million followers now. My suggestion, Austin's audience, about 40 seconds is what his audience likes. He's just more entertaining than me, I think. But I suggest doing about 15 to 30-second videos on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. And your goal is to get over 100% watch time. How do you get over 100% of something? Well, it's a loop, so it keeps on repeating itself. So one thing Austin taught me is something called a closed loop, that at the end you say, but if you want to grow on YouTube, so it starts and stops at the same way. So it's this seamless loop and the audience doesn't know what starts and when it ends. And it's something's 15 seconds, you're going to probably watch it once or twice anyways, right? If you really are finding value of it. So getting that watch time up to over 100% is extremely important. The hook is really more about 1 second on a short if it's a 15 to 30 second video. Does everyone know what a YouTube short is? It's just a vertical video on YouTube. It's just the TikTok of YouTube. Use strong emotions. And, it's really the same as a long video. It's just in a short format. One recommendation I would give you guys is start with shorts. If you can master a 15-second storytelling moment, you can master a long video. It's a whole lot harder to have someone watch a 5-minute video versus a 15-second video. So my recommendation to all of you guys, and by the way, TikTok and YouTube Shorts are absolutely blowing up on SERPs on Google right now. So I would master the 15-second storytelling and then move on to longer videos. Shareability. Make content so good people want to tell their mama about it. If you're not making content good enough for people to share, maybe you're not making good enough content, right? Because if you're in an industry and you watch a video and you have no motivation to like, comment, or share on that video, then maybe it's not good enough. Maybe you have to find other ways. Maybe you have to do giveaways, or, if you're not good enough, maybe you have to be creative enough to get people to share it. But clickability, the titles and thumbnails, watchability, making content people want to consume the entire time, and then shareability, just getting people to like, comment, and share. One of the best things you can do is tell people what you want them to do. So subscribe, like, comment, share, things like that. I know it sounds pretty primitive, but it works very, very well. This is kind of my philosophy on how my customers have so many organic views. I call it my unlock method. And I think the main reason people fell, especially on YouTube. I keep on talking about YouTube versus TikTok and Instagram because YouTube's a million times harder. Let's just be honest. A million times harder. So a lot of people talk a lot about a lot of different things, or they don't want to focus. At this point, if you guys are really wanting to do well on YouTube, I would be a niche of a niche of a niche, right? So I wouldn't talk about, if I was starting a brand new skateboarding channel tomorrow, I wouldn't just talk about skateboarding. I would talk about freestyle skateboarding or vert skateboarding or skateboarding as an old man, because you have to identify with a certain group of people. Also, let's say I go make an old man skateboard channel. I will have maximum maybe 50 to 100,000 subscribers 5-10 years from now. But those 50 or 100,000 people are going to love my content better than a general skateboard channel with 1 million subscribers. I would make more money selling merch to old dudes that skateboard than trying to reach the whole world, right? So it's so much more powerful. My friend in Birmingham, Alabama, making $300,000 a year teaching people how to cut grass. He found his niche. You know, he's not just talking about all the things about grass or weeding, and he's focused. So don't underestimate the power of being an underwater basket weaver. When I was a kid, that was like the funny thing parents used to tell kids going to college that didn't pick a good field to go in. Now, if you are the underwater basket weaver, you're going to win the hardest on YouTube. And you could literally be a millionaire with one view if you sold jumbo jets, you know? And I mean, I'm just saying, like, the audience size doesn't matter. It's about the audience participation and love and respect for what you're doing. So, oh man, I just skipped like 90%. How's my time doing? Are we good? All right. So unlock your superpower and purpose. We're all born here for a purpose of some point, right? We got to figure out what that is. I would ask family and friends, or if you're doing this for a brand, ask clients and owners, but really focus in on what value or entertainment method you're actually giving. Because if you're not actually helping someone, or you're not creating your YouTube channel with that heart, it's just not going to ever go anywhere. So you got to find your superpower, and you really have to niche down. So in my little channel, I help people unlock YouTube because the biggest part of YouTube is mindset. That's the reason 99% of people fail. Another thing on the L is listen and improve 1% every week. You're not going to be a master editor and filmer and sound person and storyteller all in one day. It takes the average channel about 10 years to get to 1 million subscribers. You know, so this is definitely a marathon, not a race. So you just have to get 1% better every week, and don't judge yourself. You know, just stay the course. It's hard. People like Mr. Beast make it look easy. 23-year-old about to be a billionaire, whatever, not bitter. And only make watchable content. If you won't watch your own content, delete that video and throw it away. And go make stuff that is watchable. I'm not talking about quality. I'm just talking about value. You got to create at least one video a week. You just have to. Mr. Beast created 400 videos before he really got viral at all, from the time he was 13 to 17. So, you know, it is about the consistency. Now he only makes like one video a month, but his videos cost $1 to $6 million to produce. So it makes sense, you know, to only do one a month. Keep developing your habits and mindset. Mindset is everything. If you are failing at something, you have to push through, or you're just going to keep failing. And then when I say, what's your slogan? If someone says, hey, what do you do on YouTube? I help creators unlock YouTube. End of story, right? I could put that on my business card on my website. It's my philosophy. It's the thing I do. It's my niche. It's very hard to articulate. I would argue that this is the hardest part of being a creator, whether you're a blogger or YouTuber or TikToker. Articulating your value is probably the hardest thing for anyone to do. I would get outside help for this. I would ask your spouse or your friends or family, know your purpose and your niche, and come down to a 3 to 5, maybe 6, 7 word phrase that explains what you do. On this sheet, I also gave you guys a whole bunch of other stuff. I'm giving you my storytelling show formula. I definitely recommend you guys studying various types of storytelling. The hero's journey is basically every Disney movie you've ever seen. You know, that I would just study that. I would study the 3-part story structure. It's all about storytelling. And I would even argue that blogs are the same way, right? You have to hold people's attention. A lot of these, well, this example is actually from Mr. Beast in the first 10 seconds. So you got to hook them, know who your subscribers are, the context, the reason to watch. A lot of people everyone was born with this desire to put this big 10-second logo or something like spinning around or something. Is like branding. That just absolutely kills channels. You really need 70% watch time in 30 seconds. If you spend 5 seconds of that showing the logo, you've already killed your video. YouTube will not promote it. 70% retention in the first 30 seconds is actually very hard to do. This is why I'm talking about keeping the video fast-paced and entertaining and have a lot of stuff switching around and going fast. Don't do the branding anymore. That's dead. And the reason, if you want to do branding, do it in the background or make it part of the video. Don't make it something that the video does and everything else pauses. And there's also a reason I don't work with big corporate 100 brands anymore, because branding and TikTok and YouTube don't always match, you know. You got to have a reason to keep watching, call to action, tell people what you want them to do, and the end screen. So I use an iPhone, a GoPro, and there's this really cool web camera called an Insta360 Link. It is, I've used a lot of web cameras. They all suck. This is the actual first web camera. It's $300. It's the first web camera I've ever used that literally looks like a $10,000 camera. It's got a gimbal. It has all this technology that lets you follow. So I'll be at my studio at my house and, moving all around, and I'm always in frame. Super cool camera. So if you guys do Zoom calls a lot or live streams, totally worth buying an Insta. I'm not a sponsor, by the way. I just think it's really awesome. Again, the two things people will not tolerate is bad lighting. The phrase shady, that's a shady character. That literally comes from people not lit right. If your eyes aren't lit, people aren't going to subconsciously trust you. You're going to look all shady. If you don't have any lights, just face a window during the daytime. At night, it doesn't really help. There's this new microphone called the Elgato Wave 3. It's only about $200. It puts my $500 camera, puts my $500 microphone to shame. It's crazy technology. And I had this earlier. I forgot to bring it. I'll put this on this document. There's this $30 lapel. You put one side in your phone, and the other side is like this lapel. It's $30. It's super awesome. So I'll add this to the document tonight. It's on Amazon. It's super, super amazing. Editing software, don't overthink it. There's so many amazing apps now. I think, Austin, don't you actually edit most of your videos just on your phone? So this dude has 1 million followers and he just edits all his videos on his phone. Pretty crazy. So don't overthink it. It's not about the quality. It's not about logos. It's just about giving people value. I also gave you guys an uploading and optimization cheat sheet so you can see all the things you have to do when you upload a video. I'm going to give you guys some philosophies on keyword research. Believe it or not, there's a lot of YouTube gurus out there telling everyone that YouTube searches doesn't matter, like keywords don't matter, don't ever waste your time on them. And the reason they say that is 70% of the views that happen on YouTube happen from suggested views, not search. So 30% is all you get on search. But why that's really, really just absolutely dumb to tell people, don't worry about keywords, is everything is based on in top. If you don't have a keyword, how's YouTube going to know what your video is about? So I would stay very focused on 1 or 2 or 3 main keywords or keyword phrases for all your content forever. So if I didn't have the word skateboard in the glass skateboard video, how's YouTube going to know based on the search history of skateboarders? How will they know who to suggest your videos to, right? Keywords are absolutely important, but how to set up a skateboard the right way in 2023 isn't as important as you think, but the word skateboard and how to is a category. So it's very, very important, but don't get caught up in it. The way Roger became the most famous YouTube plumber in the world is because we did all the things: live streams, how-to videos. I think if you type in how to fix your running toilet, he ranks #1 in the world. That's huge. But if he didn't do plumber reacts to crazy Russian plumbing, or, plumber tries horrible 5-minute craft videos, he wouldn't have gone viral. He wouldn't be big. It takes all the things. It takes the live streams and the shorts and all the types of content to create a holistic approach to YouTube. So the biggest SEO tool I use for Google or for YouTube is their own drop-down menu. So if you start typing something in on YouTube, it'll start auto-populating. That's actually what YouTube thinks is the most popular terms. Another thing you may want to do is in an incognito window, search for your niche, what you're focusing on, to see what other people are doing. Make your own versions of that success. Don't necessarily copy them, but copy them. Let's be real. Understand your main core keywords, like the main focus keywords. I love Answer the Public. It has nothing to do with YouTube, but has anyone ever used Answer the Public in here? It is absolutely insane because you can quickly understand your whole universe of what, why, how, what everyone's doing. And yes, it does not apply to YouTube in any way, shape, or form, but it does apply to the psychological reasons why people are searching for something. Then what I do is I take that Answer the Public data and I put it on Google trends.google.com, but then I drop down the menu from web to YouTube. So now I'm applying Answer the Public information into YouTube specific information. So that's how I go from kind of non-YouTube to YouTube. Does that make sense? I worked at vidIQ for many years. It's about 3 million active monthly users. It's pretty much the biggest keyword tool for YouTubers. There's another one called TubeBuddy that's awesome as well. And you also use Social Blade. It allows you to kind of see what your competitors are doing, how many views and subscribers they get a month. YouTube analytics, again, I know you guys are all nerds in here, so analysis paralysis is probably the reason most of you have never created a YouTube channel in here. Right? Am I right? No one's going to admit it. That's all right. I forgive you. But analysis paralysis, like I probably use all the tools you guys use from an SEO perspective in here, and they're awesome. I love the nerd side of this. But there's danger to that, right? If you focus on clickability, watchability, and likability, everything's going to be fine. If we get too detailed into the nerd here, we're going to forget. We're going to not see the forest through the trees. So be careful here. The most important thing is CTR click-through rate, your title and thumbnail, seeing the rate of clicks. I would say that's number one. Everything else is traffic sources. And on YouTube, if you have a win, double down. Austin has literally created the same video about 10 billion times. Once YouTube deems you worthy of getting millions of views on a video, keep on doing that same thing, because they're like releasing traffic because of the history of success. YouTube deems you worthy of that subject. So you really, click-through rate and traffic sources are the only two things I would focus on, quite honestly. Everything else is cool to see, but it's not really going to change your life. And there's a lot of misconceptions on making money. The number one way to make money on YouTube is to get them off of YouTube and go make them buy your product or service. The risk and problem with that is YouTube's going to it's going to harm your channel when you take people away. So they don't like session ends, and they don't like you always constantly taking people away from your YouTube channel. But as everyone in here probably has to make money, you just have to find a balance. So I would say focus on making your own products and services. That's the number one way to make money. AdSense, I do have customers making 6+ figures a month, on the ads, but that's rare. Like the average person probably doesn't make $300-400 a month. So it's not a great income source. Can be if you have a lot of views. Affiliate marketing, obviously, and sponsorships are great, but owning your own products and services is probably going to be 10 times more valuable to everyone in this room. I do have a whole course. I'm not going to talk about that. And then creatorunlock.com/SOS is this whole sheet. Do you guys have any questions for me? Go ahead.
To what extent is YouTube, the algorithms able to understand the content in a video and audio without any text?
That's a good question. So how much does YouTube and Google understand a video? Every frame and every second they understand. I don't know if you guys have ever seen, there's this, anyways, I'm not going to get that nerdy, but every second, video, audio is checked. Every frame, every second. They know everything. Cloud Vision, has anyone ever played with that tool in here? The API? So Cloud Vision is, you can upload any like thumbnail or scene of a video, and it'll actually tell you the emotions and colors and everything about if it's sexual or not. It'll literally tell you everything. We found we were having a customer not getting a lot of views, and we're like, what's going on? The person on camera was wearing a skin color shirt, and YouTube, Google thought this person was nude. So like, it's way creepier. Everyone talks about how creepy TikTok is. Come on, Google, YouTube, Facebook, it's all creepy at this point. They know a lot. Anyone else? Hey. Uh-huh. I mean, I would say out of the 20 billion views my customers have, at least 10+ billion of those just come from technical how-to videos. What I would argue, though, is make a better thumbnail and title, give a better emotional promise. Really silly stuff that we all know, right, from a blog's perspective. But the best way, the easiest way, 5 tips, value people's time. And if you value people's time in the thumbnail and the title, the promise of time, that tends to work the best with something like that. So give someone an emotional reason to watch your technical video versus someone else's. Another thing, when I created Adobe Television like 2008 for Adobe, and we found that basically 60% of the time you're showing software, you're actually setting up a concept for software. You're not showing clicking a button. So if you're showing software, you want to show the person and the screen, the person and the screen. You want to switch between them. Again, nonverbal communication, right? So I would argue that a lot of videos that don't do great just have the screen, they don't have the person. Hey.
Kind of add on to that for longer videos, if appropriate, how important are timestamps that people can jump around?
So the question is, how important are timestamps? Timestamps is you can self-designate times in the videos so that they'll jump to. From an SEO perspective, I'm sure you guys have seen video snippets. It's pretty important. You can actually rank in Google for all of those timestamps. Pretty dang important. However, on the flip side, Google is so creepy now that they do auto timestamps for every video. Every single video has auto timestamps now. So if this audience, do timestamps. Everyone else, I would say, oh, don't worry about it. You don't know about SEO enough to make it effective. But this audience, do them. Anyone else? Hey, Tony.
Okay, what are you using for captioning today? Are you still recommending captioning for every single video?
So on long videos, I would not recommend captioning. And the reason is YouTube, Google's automated captioning system is actually good now. When I was working with Procter & Gamble like 10 years ago, there was a video that we let Google auto caption, and there was something like the word terrorist and bomb was in the captions, and we legit got a phone call from the government. They're like, what's going on? So back then I would say, no, let's not use auto captions. It's not a good idea. But now actually they're very good. For short vertical videos, I would highly recommend you always burn on the captions into the video itself, because most of these platforms like Facebook, 75-85% of the people don't even have audio turned on. So with short vertical videos, I use the app, believe it or not, it's called Captions. It's like $8 a month, and it's really cool. It has emojis and different colors, and it's really, really good. So Captions for vertical videos, and then I just use, now if you want better, rev.com is a really good source. Yeah, it's great. But if you guys are working with like a big brand, never use auto captions on YouTube, ever. But if you're just working with an average size company, I think they're fine. All right, anyone else?
We can take one more question.
Someone give me a good one. Hey.
So if you have a video, do you post the same video like twice on YouTube? One is a short, one is like a long, and then the same thing, like post it on TikTok, post it on Instagram, or is that bad?
So the question is, do you post the same thing everywhere? And the answer is vertical video. I personally think, Austin might disagree with me, but I think if you make a great story, 15, 30-second story, you can put that on Facebook and Pinterest and YouTube and TikTok, and it's all the same, right? The only difference is you can't use native music. I mean, you have to use native music. So don't put any music on a vertical video ever. Use the native music's platform, or you'll have copyright problems. So on TikTok, the music's different than YouTube, than Instagram. So burn in the captions, use their native music, and yes, post it everywhere. There is a new function that just rolled out about 2 months ago on YouTube where you can take a long video and turn it into a short, and it references back to the long. This just happened pretty recently. All right, well, thank you guys. I'll be around till tomorrow. Thank you.